Okay, so at any rate, as I was saying, this is Chacham Melech Ben Yaakov. What I'd like to talk a little bit now is I'd like to lay out a little bit of what I call my spiritual cosmology. Okay, if you remember on one of the previous videos, I was speaking about the rules, the laws of the universe in 5 dimensions. The 3 physical dimensions, the 4th quote-unquote dimension of time. It was really a construct that Einstein came up with in general relativity, so it's not truly a dimension, but we're going to call it a dimension because that's in popular conception. Time is the 4th dimension, and we'll call the 5th dimension the dimension of the spiritual world. So as I'd mentioned in one of the previous videos, I like to think of myself as a 5-dimensional scientist. My background is mathematics and science, and I'm always trying to figure out laws, rules, etc., etc. And just as physicists may figure out laws and rules in 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions, I like to figure them out in 5 dimensions because that truly encompasses the total spectrum of the world. If we don't take into account the physical plus the spiritual, especially the spiritual, then we're missing out on what's really going on in this world. So I'd like to start laying out a little bit of this spiritual cosmology that I've come to understand. Or one thing that I'd like to start with is the idea that this physical world is actually, it's an illusion, it's a dream. Okay, now let me just preface again and say that people have claimed that some of my views overlap with Buddhism or Hinduism or Eastern religions, and if that's the case, well, it's not intentional at all. I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not a Hindu. I am a Torah observant, Yehovah fearing and Yehovah worshiping Israelite. But the fact of the matter is that the Torah is an Eastern religion, and this is one of the big mistakes. This has been one of the great pieces of damage that has come to the Torah, to the world of the Israelite, is that we have somehow or another, or the most vocal part of our people have migrated to the Western countries, and therefore we've been infused with Western materialistic ideas, and therefore we've distorted our understanding of the Torah by viewing it through a Western lens. The real way to understand the Torah is to view it through an Eastern lens, in my opinion, not through a Western lens. So that's why I think when I'm exploring true Torah, I think it's going to sound a lot more like Buddhism or other Eastern religions than it ever will like Christianity, which is when you listen to a typical Torah practitioner speak in this day and age. You're going to hear things that sound a lot more maybe Christian, Western, Greek, Roman, because these are the influences of modern Judaism. Okay, so getting back to what I wanted to say, we can think of this physical world as actually, it's an illusion. It's a giant illusion. I always like to say, sing the song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And this life is indeed a dream. The physical world is an illusion because one of the laws of physics is that any physical object, it must be bounded in space and be bounded in time. If you look at this boat over here, it's bounded in space, okay? It has its borders, okay? And it's also bounded in time. It was born at a certain time, and it will die at a certain time. This boat will not last for eternity, okay? And any physical object, okay? Any physical object, no matter what it is, including us as human beings, including this lake, the mountains, okay? They were all born, they will all die, okay? And this is one piece of evidence to show that this physical world is an illusion. The physical world was also born, at least according to the Big Bang, and one day will also die, because that's what all physical objects do. And that's one big piece of evidence to show that the physical world is actually an illusion, because if it's not permanent, if it's not forever, it must be an illusion, okay? So what is forever? If this physical world is an illusion, if this physical world is not forever, then what is forever, okay? What is forever is the spiritual world. And specifically, I would say it all boils down to one thing. The only thing that really lasts forever is love, okay? And love can mean not only two people connecting, okay, but it can also mean the good deeds we do for other people, okay? If I do a good deed for somebody else, then that somehow has an eternity to it. It acquires an eternity. If I help somebody out, it acquires an eternity. If I love somebody, if I'm in love with somebody and that person is in love with me, that love is eternal. It's outside of space, it's outside of time. It has no beginning, it has no end, it's boundless in space and time. And when this entire illusion of the physical world disappears and dies someday, what will remain, the only thing that will remain, is love, is the things that, the acts of love, the people that we love, or the love connections that we've made, the acts of kindness that we've done, the acts of goodness that we've done, and that will reveal itself in the end to be the only thing that's real. Everything else is fake. Okay, all the evil that we do, okay, the ways we think we're going to get ahead, cut corners here, be a little bit greedy here, be arrogant here, be haughty here, you know, disparage that person there, talk about that person behind their back, all of that basically does not last in eternity. So the more of your time, the more of your energy, the more of your spiritual and physical energy you waste for all of that stuff, okay, whether it's gathering physical possessions or whether it's doing evil things, talking behind people's back.
Negative energy.
Yeah, negative energy. That is all completely wasted energy in this world. Completely wasted energy in this world. It will dissipate into nothing. It will disappear. It will die, just as the physical world will die.
Negative energy should be saved for your next life.
All right. Okay. Let's focus over here. So, where were we? So, thank you, Eliezer. So, and the only thing that will remain are the acts of goodness, the acts of love, the acts of kindness, the way we help other people, the way we help build other people up, the way we teach other people about the ways of Yehovah, which are the ways of love and kindness. That's the only thing that is eternal. So that is one very basic metaphysical rule. That is one very basic rule in the five-dimensional cosmology that I'm trying to lay out. And this is a basic rule that can be found in the Torah. The Torah doesn't make explicit statements a lot of times, except for certain books like Mishlei, Ecclesiastes. It doesn't make explicit philosophical statements. It's not a book of philosophy per se. What it is I don't know what it is, to tell you the honest truth. To be 100% honest, I haven't figured out exactly what the Torah is. But what it does do is a lot of times it lays out its philosophy in the background. It makes the stories, the ideas, the things that happen have certain assumptions behind it, which when you look behind those lines, lay out the underlying philosophical assumptions of the Torah. And I think that this is definitely one of the assumptions that it can be found to be laid out, that the only thing that's real in this world is love, acts of goodness, acts of kindness, helping one another, being kind to one another. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it, because that's what Yehovah is. Yehovah created us to be those types of creatures, and so therefore, in the end of the day, if only that is real, if only He is real, then only those elements which are of Him, which are real, and everything else will reveal itself to be the fake illusion that it is. Okay, so let's leave that for now. Once again, this is Chacham Melech Ben Yaakov of Karaite Insights, and looking over the beautiful sunset, illusory and dreamlike as it is, here in New Hampshire in the United States of America.